Hello, it's so good to see you again. I am Barbara and together with my husband Daniel I restored a historic sailing ship, Flying Coney. We are still in the shipyard on Urk and this time we remove Flying Coney's mast. That's the reason why we've booked a slipway right next to the crane. Since we expect the mast to be quite heavy, it's best to lift it as close to the base of the crane as possible. Because once the mast is cut loose, you're pretty much committed. And since we don't know how heavy the mast actually is, we really hope the crane can lift it.
So today is the big day. We are going to remove this mast here and going from a motor sailor configuration into a trawler yacht configuration. Might seem a little bit odd because the goal is to convert Flying Coney into a sailing ship, but for us it makes totally sense to make this one step backwards before we finally put a real sailing rig with two masts on her. And this mast here, it's really a DIY hinge-in mast and not suitable for a proper sailing rig. So for us it makes absolutely sense to remove it and build up from a plain platform. So our first step was to cut or to remove all line connections and wire rope connections to the mast. It's currently only held in place by the fore shrouds and the forestay. We made sure that all this connection can be loosened easily. So it's now the turn of the yard to cut the last wires and then off it goes.
When we bought the ship, we knew three things. First, she has been a beautiful sailing ship at one point. Second, she isn't a sailing ship at the moment, but third, she will be a beautiful sailing ship again once we're done with the refit.
Actually, the fact that she has been a sailing ship was the reason why we bought Flying Coney. I mean, who would buy a motorboat if you want to have a sailing ship? That doesn't make sense. So we've always seen Flying Coney as a sailing ship that has lost her masts, and never as a motorboat. Our simple task is to remove everything we don't need for sailing and just add new masts. Nothing as easy as that. And this ship has proven herself to be extremely capable, fast and seaworthy. With her sturdy hull, the beautiful lines, and the sheer amount of ballast, she offers everything you need to sail the oceans.
Don't think. Let's hope. What do you need?
The mast is held in place by the crane now, so the next step is to remove the remaining standing rigging. As you all know, restoring an historic ship is quite a task and also pretty expensive. And we couldn't do it without the generosity of our lovely supporters. So a huge thanks to all of you. And we just set up a YouTube channel membership. So if you want to support the Flying Coney project and get some pretty cool extras here on YouTube, like badges whenever you leave a comment or real-time updates, then just click the join button underneath this video. And of course you can also support us on Patreon or leave a donation on PayPal or Super Thanks. Whatever you decide to do, your support is very much appreciated.
Right from the beginning we knew that the current mast isn't suitable for sailing. It's way too small and with the hinge mechanism a little bit sketchy. It would have costed a lot of money to make it somehow usable again. New ropes, new standing rigging and new blocks. On a long-term project it is important to follow the vision. And this monstrosity of a mast was kind of in the way.
So we knew at one point we need to get rid of it. And this point is now, to make room for something new. It might seem like a step back, but it really is a huge step into the right direction.
We want to rebuild Flying Coney as a schooner brig, or as some fellow sailors would say, a brigantine. But to explain the difference of those would be a bit too much for this video. So we want two masts, the forward one with square sails and the aft one with a gaff sail. And of course with staysails in between the masts and on the bowsprit. We've decided to go with steel masts because they are safer and less maintenance. And we will use wooden spars. So all the booms, the gaffs, the topmasts and the beautiful long bowsprit will be wooden.
So eventually we will end up with a sailing ship that is about 105 feet long and that can carry about 500 square meters of sail, which is quite a lot. So luckily the hull has a lot of ballast and Flying Coney is a very stable ship.
But why does Flying Coney need square sails? First of all, square sails are amazing. They offer a lot of sail power and a square rigger is perfect to make long passages. And it's also a quite interesting rig, something you don't see every day. Another reason why we need square sails is that we want to sail Flying Coney with up to 12 people and show and teach them how to operate a traditionally rigged sailing ship.
Ultimately, we want to go sailing together with the people who made this refit possible. Our supporters, our Patreons, and all the people who support us by watching these videos. So we want to go sailing together with you.
Square sails offer a unique learning opportunity and it's amazing to go aloft, hoist the sails and see how a 120-ton ship flies over the water just with the power of the wind.
On a fore and aft rigged boat, the most interesting task is to steer the boat. And let's be honest, the helm is mostly occupied by the captain, so me. But with square sails there's something else that is very interesting and that needs to be explored. Climbing the tall masts to operate the sails, seeing the world from a new perspective and mastering a challenge to become a true sailor.
But you're almost done.
Yes.
Are there any ropes we can keep? Any ropes you want to
I
keep?
think so, for
Fenders.
small tasks, fenders, hoisting something that isn't heavy, for lacking
Yep.
all these purposes.
We tried to keep as much as possible from our hinged mast. We saved all the blocks and shackles and some ropes. They are all pretty old and worn, so I wouldn't trust them for any serious job, but it's always good to have some spare parts, just in case. And the next step is to close off the big hole in our deck where our mast used to be.
So Case did an amazing job of removing the mast, and I have to say the boat, and it looks amazing. I guess for many people it's quite surprising why we have removed the mast, because after all we do want to have a sailing ship and that's still the plan. But with the mast that was here, this boat wasn't a sailing ship. That was at best a motor sailor, but it was more or less a steadying sail. It wasn't a sailing ship, it wasn't a trawler, it was something in between of everything. So we made the decision to fully go in the direction of a classic trawler yacht, and she's looking amazing in this configuration. And so it might seem like a step backwards, but for us it's a huge step forward, and I hope you will love the new shape of Flying Coney as much as we do. I'm still very much a sailor, so it's absolutely necessary for us to, or for me to make a sailing ship out of Flying Coney, but that always included to buy 2 new masts. The forward mast shall be in this very spot here, but we also have to renew the deck, so that does not make any difficulties, any problems to put a new mast here. It's way higher than the previous mast, and we also need a second mast that is somewhere where the wheelhouse is, and to rig her as a true schooner brick or modern brigantine with square sails on the forward mast. And I really can't wait to finally set sails on Flying Coney. And now 1, 2, 3.
The mast is gone. It weighed 1,600 kilograms, which is quite a lot. And I can't wait to see Flying Coney back in the water without it. I think she will look way better. And that's all we have time for today. Next week we will build a loading crane so we can get our dinghy easily aboard. And if you don't want to miss it, then make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified as soon as we publish a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.